Okay, now we're going to get a little bit more complicated. We're going to go into how God built the house in time. The reference is Genesis 5, and I'm going to show you more about that a little bit later on. But right now, we're just going to keep it simple. Here, we start the house. Pretend that this represents 490 years of the house. Okay, so this period is 490 years long. Okay, when you go to buy a house, sometimes you have to mortgage it. So it's kind of like a loan. You're borrowing money in order to build the house. So this is a loan of time. And this time is 490 years. Specifically, the first 490 years after Adam's fall. Okay. Now, that's the loan for construction. If by the end of the 490 years it's not paid, then time stops. The house can't get finished to be the full 1,000. All right, or 1,050. Now, Adam was the first guy to mature, but he doesn't mature like here at the beginning. He doesn't mature until, pretend this is to scale, this point, which is 130 years after his fall. Okay? The Bible represents that as him having a son named Seth, and you have to know the Hebrew for this. Seth means appointed to carry the name, because God is building a house of time so he can build a house of sons. It takes time for your sons to grow up. So you got to have the time up front. All right? And so at 130 years after his fall, Adam matured enough to have the son Seth. Now that's 130 years later than 490. You got that? So this blue line, let's say this is the box of the 490 that Adam was awarded for supermaturing. Well, that extends beyond 490 years. You see that? Specifically, it extends 130 years longer, because he didn't begin to mature until 130 years after his fall. So now the house, go back to the house construction, the house now can last another 130 years because Adam supermatured. Got that? All right, well, this 130-year point in the house, now I'm going to have to explain something, takes you to 622 years after Adam. I say 622 because the Bible's Genesis 5 shows that at the very beginning of the 130th year after his fall, he matured. And the next guy to do it, let's change the color again, we'll do a different blue, is Jared. If you look in Genesis 5, you'll see Jared. And Jared ends up having Enoch, all right? And that's at the year 622. So we got another 490 beginning at 622 years after the fall due to Jared. And Enoch in Hebrew means dedicated. Let me show you the timeline. All right, see, look. Here's Adam 130 years after the fall. This was when the 490 was supposed to end, but he's maturing 130 years into it. So the next guy is Jared, and he has Enoch. Okay, see, here's Enoch. Jared has Enoch when he's 162 years old. Adam has Seth when he's 130. So Seth is born in the beginning of the 130th year after Adam's fall. Okay? And Jared, in the 162nd year after he was born, has Enoch. And that's in the and 22nd year after his fall. See, here's Enoch's birth after Adam's fall. So the difference between 622 and 130 is 492. So very late in Jared's 162nd birthday, he has Enoch. That's why you have 492 years. This is happening very early in the year. This is happening very late in the year. So we come back to our drawing. And so you'll notice now that the house can go on for another 490 years. All right? This is the underlying construct. There is somebody to carry the 490s. Okay, but the house, remember from from part 10H, is 490 plus 70. Sorry, I can't draw well. All right? So, right after Adam, right in here, let me give it a red. Okay, right in here, we got a voting window. So this part is occurring in the middle between Jared that's Jared, I can't write it well, and Adam. I'll take a few minutes to mull that over and see if it makes sense. Sorry, I can't write it well.